Watch out, this podcast may contain adult content. We're brought to you today by Altered Reality Entertainment, the creators of Empire State Comic-Con. Check it out at escomiccon.com. And now, on to the show. Hello and welcome to On the Case, an investigative television podcast about Game of Thrones. We're talking about all the living, breathing characters ahead of the final season. Who are we talking about this time, Casey?
The Zombie Mountain.
Is he a zombie or is he more of a Frankenstein's monster? Because I feel like he was reanimated by some...
It's hard to say because of the laws of reanimation in this world.
Because I don't think he's a white. I don't think he's a fire white. He's not a...
I think he's a science white or something.
Science white, yeah.
But he's definitely a Frankenstein of sorts because it seems as though several of his parts have been replaced with other parts.
Yeah, Qyburnenstein monster.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it has to be some kind of weird transfusion of something because he's even stronger than he was, which is scary.
So what do we think that was? Like, is it like some kind of venom of some creature that they put in him? Some kind of...
It's hard to say. I mean, he dabbled in a lot of like dark elements of science and magic and stuff because that's why he was expelled from the Citadel. Qyburn is what I'm talking about. But I don't know. I mean, he seemed to be doing transfusions and stuff, and he said that when they brought that head that someone thought was Tyrion's when they were trying to find Tyrion after he kills Tywin, he's like, "Oh, I'll take this head." And a lot of people think that he put like a dwarf's head where Gregor's head used to be, which is weird because there wasn't really anything wrong with his head. I think Qyburn's just fucking with him. Like, he's just... A lot of people in the books think he doesn't even have a fucking head. But we obviously know in the show he does. It's just all black and marked up and weird. But, yeah, I don't know what it is.
Okay, so then, let's give an overview. Because he used to be alive.
Yeah.
And now he's a zombie.
He was Sandor Clegane's older brother, Gregor. He's known as the Mountain or the Mountain that rides.
Played by 3 different actors so far.
Yes.
Renowned asshole.
Yeah, he is maybe the worst person in Westeros as far as what he's capable of.
You could say full stop. I feel like he's...
I don't know.
Who's worse than him?
Ramsay.
Ramsay? Okay.
Yeah. But, like, Ramsay's not capable of the type of major
Yeah, it's like more cycle... Yeah, because I was going to say, if we're thinking of, like, people who are still alive on the show and, like, who has the highest kill count...
Yeah.
As a bad guy, it's probably the Mountain.
Yeah,
and
I
would imagine that the Mountain's kill count was probably higher than Ramsay's too.
A lot of what he does is off screen because he's just ravaging the Riverlands under Tywin's orders for most of it.
And he's just murdering men, women, children left and right.
Important people killed, like
I'm not saying important people. I'm just saying in general, like he's murdering horses, man.
Yeah,
just because the horse didn't work in a freaking jousting thing.
Yeah, no, he's a savage. And I think he's freakishly strong, freakishly mean. And he's not like other people that are like that, where like they don't have like a sexual appetite. He has a sexual appetite of a normal man, but he has this freakish anger and stuff too. So he doesn't just like murder people. He like literally rapes people, murders people, takes people, and kills their children in front of them. I mean, he sacked King's Landing and killed and raped Elia. Cut her in half. Like, he's a monster. And
dude, I mean, when Cersei goes and finds him to be her champion or whatever, he's just like playing with guts. He's just like...
They're just like feeding him like common folk for practice so that he's ready to kill Oberyn, which he does in horrible fashion by literally crushing his head with his bare hands.
And you've just cemented it. He is the worst person in all of Game of Thrones because Oberyn was my favorite.
Oberyn's amazing.
I love Oberyn.
Short-lived.
Pedro Pascal, such an incredible actor.
And just the only part of House Martell that's interesting in the show. But yeah, I think the Mountain...
You murdered her! You killed her children!
I murdered her. I killed her. And I crushed her head. It's so bad.
We were talking about this off pod before that I'm just gonna yell out the overhead lines at some point.
Anytime.
Hope I didn't get too crazy.
He's the Inigo Montoya of the story. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Who gave you the order? That's pointing. I love that.
But what's weird is just like lots of characters, you hate them and then you kind of like rooting for them.
No, I haven't.
I will argue.
I don't like them
after
at all.
Cersei gets back from her Walk of Atonement and you see this freakish man that's like half beast, half man, and then like the first thing he does for her is like that dude's like talking about like,
gives her the Shaw.
He was I mean, like the first act of like violence he does as the Zombie Mountain is that dude like in the markets talking shit about how
and he
like,
pulls off the
Cersei, and he just like crunches his head into a wall. Just beautiful how easy it is for him. And I mean, like when he kills the sparrows, Because do you hate the Mountain more than the sparrows in that scene? No. You want to see him rip a head off of a person, and it's beautiful. It's horrifying.
Nah, fam, I'm out.
Awesome.
I'm out. I can't. No, I can't.
Awesome.
This is your wildest
Fuck
take.
Asparagus.
Rooting for the Mountain is your wildest take, Casey.
Not in the grand scheme of
We're
things.
like 20 episodes in, and this is the wildest shit you've
It
said
is
on
not.
this
I'm
podcast.
sorry. No one watches
Redeemable, the Mountain. You know who's not a bad guy? The Mountain.
I
You
just
know,
said
there
he
are
is.
people on many sides. On many sides, there are people doing good and bad.
Well, look, we're talking about alive characters. The Mountain isn't alive. The Zombie Mountain is alive. Of things that the Zombie Mountain has done, I clapped through several of
Okay,
them. I
okay.
hated the sparrows.
Okay,
I hate religious
okay.
zealots, and everyone does, and that's what the show plays on, is your most human fears. Those are things that are scary in real life.
Gotcha.
Like, one of my favorite Stephen King stories is The Mist.
Yeah.
The Mist is about
Yeah.
horrifying monsters from another dimension, and the scariest thing in the movie is a religious zealot that gets people to kill other people under their fear. So when you take that angle on this story, the sparrows are terrifying and horrible.
So before we get into like top worst, like we've been kind of jumping all around, like as we do, we go on tangents.
Well, he's quite complex.
Yeah, but I would say he's not as complex now. He's pretty simple with his no speech. But
He's been around.
yes, but is this your current? Like, do you like Halfthor as the Mountain? Like, is he your favorite iteration? Because I kind of like the first guy the most. The second one, he was in the helmet the whole time, and he was just. I think this is like one of the biggest errors of Game of Thrones, because I don't like it when there's recasting. I mean, it's pretty glaring and it's bad, but like this one, like I really thought the first guy really looked like Rory McCain. Is that Hound's actor?
That's the Hound, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I really thought the first guy, I believed that guy looked like his brother.
Yeah.
And then the second guy, the body build was like much taller, much lankier, not as thick and broad.
That's the guy that plays the Giants.
Yes.
Show with the
Yeah.
motion
Yeah. So like that one, I was like, man, I don't like this. So I was like, I'm fine for them to write the Mountain out of the story. And then when they like, you have to bring him back because that's such a major moment, and then they bring in Halfthor, like I'm just like, he had the baby face, so like in my head, I couldn't imagine him being the older brother of the Hound. Like, so
Well, as
I
far
have
as
a
on-screen atrocities, we've only really seen Halfthor do the majority of them. So I like him a lot. I do agree with you that like the length of his face versus the first actor, it's not quite like. And they didn't. And I was thinking like, oh well, you need a bodybuilder, right? Because they did that shirtless scene.
Yeah.
But you never needed a shirtless scene. You never needed one.
No.
If you think about the whole longevity of the story, he's in armor 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's in armor during the fight. He could have been in armor when he was chopping those dudes down. So you could have kept with any of those major actors. I think there were problems with the actors, and that's why they didn't come back.
Yeah.
And it's not like the guy's a great actor. He's literally a bodybuilder, like a
No, and I know he's not a great actor. It's just like I feel like for me that's the biggest unforced error of the show. Like that to me is the worst casting because it does change multiple times. Yes, and I know why it
I
had
thought
like
first Dario Naharis was the worst acting to you. The worst casting. Oh, we don't talk about that.
No,
Sorry.
because like that, it's like, you know, when you're working with your head versus your heart. Because like I just from a mental standpoint, I can't view Halfthor as the older brother and like. You know that thing where like there's like, oh, that's the bad boy with the motorcycle, or like that's the guy that's gonna get you home before curfew. It's like Halfthor has too much of a baby face, so I can't picture him doing the murders and the atrocities and the terrible things that the Mountain does. Like in my head, I just don't believe it. Like so that for me makes it rough.
The evil things too. It just
it comes off, yeah, because like the way that the first guy looked,
he was terrible.
he looked like gruff and scruffy and like, you know, kind of like the Greyjoys look. Yeah, just kind of like the world had made him into a piece of crap, or that like I could see the age on his face and that kind of stuff. And I know why they had to cast Halfthor because he's the right height, he's the right build, and like I get all that. Just for me, that's from a casting standpoint, that's the biggest one that's like sticks out to me. I'm just like, I don't buy or believe this specifically because of the baby face.
I would have preferred the first actor throughout the whole series.
Same.
Because even though they had a humongous upgrade at the Three-Eyed Raven, I still didn't like that as a recap.
Yeah, no, I like zero changes. I mean, Beric changes. I mean, yeah.
Beric's a good change.
Yes.
Beric's definitely an upgrade. But I don't know. I like the Mountain for what he is. As being a henchman, destroying people, because there's a good portion of Cersei's storyline in seasons, like at the end of season 5 and season 6, where she's not fighting the Starks. She's not fighting anyone we really like. she's fighting these religious zealots, so it's kind of fun to root for her in a weird way. And they do that with a lot of characters in the show that you hate, and then you kind of like have a moment where you're like, oh, nice. You know, even though you're like, oh shit, am I rooting for that horrible bitch that does all the horrible stuff?
Okay, I have one point of contention with what you said. Okay. I would say that the Mountain is not a henchman. Qyburn's a henchman. I would say that he's a mini boss.
Sure.
That's just my thing. If this is Legend of Zelda, he's not one of the random enemies. You beat the Mountain, you're getting a chest afterwards.
Well, if we're talking about mini bosses, then we have to talk about Clegane Bowl. The possibilities of Clegane Bowl.
So okay, so then that I think let's just lean into the top and worst moments with this.
Sure.
But that's probably going to be the top moment for the Mountain, right? Or it's going to be his worst moment, getting jumped by his brother.
When the whole show's done, yeah, but we haven't seen it yet. I mean, the worst moment I think for the Mountain would probably be when he kind of gets owned by Oberyn before he, just happens to catch him sleeping a little bit and kill him. But that's a bad moment. I mean, I'm gonna killed for all intents and purposes.
He
gets killed.
I'm gonna do that thing that I do where I'm like, actually, the worst moment for him is getting showed up by the Knight of the Flowers off of a fragrance.
Yeah.
The Knight of the Flowers sprayed his horse with like musk and made the other horse not be able to pay attention. That's a huge L.
Well, no, he just picked a horse that was in heat.
So that's right.
Would go nuts. And want to have sex with Loris's horse, basically. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Losing his cool and decapitating his horse was my second choice. But I would just think, if you're thinking of it, a temper tantrum versus getting literally publicly murdered by someone half your size, that's pretty embarrassing for someone with the reputation of the Mountain.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a viewer, we view it as a death, but like, ultimately, he crushed a dude's head like a watermelon. Yeah,
he did, but he was dying.
Yeah.
And he got poisoned real good. I don't know. And, that's probably what it is, actually. If we're talking about what makes him the Franken Mountain, right? What makes him stronger and makes him kind of undead. It's got to be a mix of science plus poison, because his body was being surged through. Like, we all know that Oberyn taught his daughters and taught himself poisons, and he laces his blade with poison.
See, and so we know that because we read the books. I was going to actually argue that in the show, maybe that didn't happen. Maybe it didn't go down that way. Do they?
Yeah, I just rewatched it, and they're looking over Sir Gregor's body, and they think the next episode, and Cersei's like worried about if he'll live, and he's looking at his shoulder, and it's like
no.
And they say it's manticore venom.
Yes, so I know like from that point, but like we're talking about the audience viewing it as a win or a loss. Like the crowd, like actually seeing that, like they don't say, they don't say it to the crowd that he poisons his blades.
No,
and I know that's an aftermath thing, but I meant like beforehand, like they don't really address it as much as they do in the show.
You have to assume he would have died even if there wasn't poison, because he literally had a spear go all the way through his
chest. Yeah, okay.
So I mean, that was a kill shot.
Okay.
He just was bleeding out slower because he's a humongous person.
Man, Oberyn's dope.
I mean, he definitely outlived Oberyn, but
when he like tosses Oberyn, or like and Oberyn does that like slide on his legs and staying up, and he's like spinning the spear. That's such a great sequence.
I love that.
That is.
Yeah. Top.
I know we're gonna do our top lists. We're gonna do our top lists for this, but like it's gonna be tough between that one and like Brienne and Hound. Like I know we're not at the end of the show yet, and we'll start doing these top lists.
Arthur Dayne.
We'll start doing these top lists. We'll start doing these at very soon.
We'll get there, guys.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones content coming.
Oh yeah.
Always non-stop.
Yeah, so that would definitely be his best moments and his worst moments. So what are his best moments then? I guess
well, like I forgot you're Team Mountain, so you give me all his best moments, all the terrible things he did.
Oh, fuck off! I'm just saying it's cool when bad stuff happens. Sometimes it's gross and awesome. Yeah. Okay?
Top moment for him has to be the septa in the right. No, I'm not.
That was a freaking.
No, I'm saying like
when he rips that soup.
No, I'm saying like that's a win for him. Like that's like a badass like the audience moment is like oh damn.
Yeah.
Like when she sees and like when Cersei. I mean that's a Cersei like own, but also that's like a.
For sure.
You're just like oh dang.
Yeah, I mean anything with the Mountain under Cersei is kind of a win. I mean it's not like the dude has any losses. I think my favorite moment of him is the one I mentioned earlier where the sparrows come for Cersei. She's like, no. And they're like, tell your man to stand aside or there'll be violence. She's like, I choose violence. And they come at him, and the dude shakes him right into his chest and he just looks down like, you dumb bitch. And he just like puts the dude on his chest and you just see him like, and your head comes off of the body with an entire spinal cord attached.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mortal Kombat. Like, that was the sickest shit ever.
Sometimes I forget that, like, Game of Thrones is way down to get a little bit over the top with the violence. Like, and maybe it is more realistic, too, because, like, those things would happen or that'd be that much violence or gore. But, like, I always forget that they are ready to get down to the gutter with the violence.
Dude. I mean, that shit looked like a badass Mortal Kombat fatality, and I was like, yeah, fuck those sparrows, dude. They're all bitches. I hate them. So watching that was amazing.
What is the happy ending for the Mountain?
Oh god, I don't know, because he doesn't really have feelings. I don't think. Like, he doesn't talk. He can't talk. I don't think. I think they probably sewed his mouth shut or some Deadpool shit like that. But I don't know. I mean, I guess if he could kill his brother, he'd be probably really happy because he's always wanted his brother dead. After that, I mean, I don't know. Ride a fucking dragon? Like, what are we doing to paint a beautiful picture for the Mountain? He's a piece of shit.
Okay, well, actually.
Okay.
Cersei wins the war, right? Right. Yeah, of course. Late night in the Red Keep. Mountain's doing his rounds. He goes to check and see if Cersei's okay. She's already given birth to her and Jaime's baby. He's asleep. Cersei, it's been a long time since she's had a man. She walks up to the Mountain, and she just puts her fingers on his lips. Shh. I got some trail shoes. I'm ready to climb.
This is disturbing, and I don't like listening to it at all. You think his happy ending is boning Cersei? With his
he's in love.
Dick?
He's in love with her. But we were trying.
It's not. It's not love with anything.
Maybe. Well, I guess they pay his bills and they allow him to murder without. Okay. Wait. Time out. Do you think that there is something the Mountain cares about? Because, like, in my head, I think that the closest person like, if we were going to say he has affection for anyone on the show, I'd say it's Cersei.
Okay.
I would say it's Cersei. And maybe he does love her. Or are they just, he's just getting agency to do the murders and do whatever he wants because he's with the power.
Okay, the only thing I've ever seen the Mountain do of his own volition besides murder was, well, it was still murder, but he basically, like, killed his parents so that he could have the house, Clegane, so that he could be the head of the house. He made sure his brother was never going to take him by enforcing his will early by burning his face. And then from then on, he was like kind of an attack dog for Tywin Lannister. He wasn't going to try and take out Tywin Lannister because he's not stupid. No. But he's also not ambitious. So the only thing I think the Mountain likes is murdering people and raping people. So literally having basically like an evil James Bond license to murder is what he has right now with Cersei. So I think it's just a work relationship. I don't think he has the empathic ability to love anyone. To have affection for her.
No, okay, I'm just throwing it out there.
Survival of the fittest, and in his mind, he is the fittest, and he's not really wrong.
So then, happiest ending, he lives out his days in servitude to Cersei, and when he gets old and he's done all of his murdering and pillaging and all that, he retires next to a mountain that they name Clegane Mountain after him.
That's a beautiful romantic story. Now I'm starting to think you love the Mountain more than I do. I don't like the Mountain. I just like the violence.
What's his worst ending?
His worst ending is the Hound's best ending, which is Clegane Bowl happens and he gets fucking owned by his brother. I hope it's close, but I hope he dies. And I hope it's clean, like his head gets lopped off, and then like the Hound goes over and like takes the helmet off of the severed head, and it's not even his own head anymore, and he's like, what the fuck did I just kill? This is so creepy.
Yeah. Okay, so then that leans into the next thing. Will he live or will he die? And I think we can both say that fool's dying. Dead. Very dead.
I think he's the Hound's to kill, and even though he says it very cryptically in the last episode, he says like, this isn't the way it happens, you know who's coming for you. And people were like, well, who else could be coming for him? I think the Hound, when I'm watching it again, the Hound is talking about himself. Yeah. He's just talking about like this whatever this necrosis is that's taken over his body. That's not the way it dies.
Yeah.
The way that the Mountain dies. I think he's like, no, I'm coming for you. One of these days.
How pissed do you think the Hound would have been if Oberyn had murdered the Hound?
I think he'd be happy for the world that his brother didn't exist anymore.
Because whenever he has to do it. I think he has to do it.
No, yeah. If you like you said before, full circle, we need the Hound to have some sort of recompense for what started his life of fear, of fire and stuff.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
I think you should kill him with a flaming sword. That'd be sweet.
Hey, any other theories about the Mountain? I think we did a good job on this one.
I mean, it'd be really cool if the Hound doesn't get to kill him. Like, if the Hound dies in another episode and he never meets his brother again, I'm going to be like, I want him roasted by a dragon in his armor or something awesome like that.
I would love a, he's like effing people up on the battlefield kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then dragon, like, just like dragon mouth comes down and just like bites him in half.
Yeah, it needs to be something epic because
I want legs to still be standing.
Oh my god!
And then like sick. Upper torso to be removed, and like the legs just stand there.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
Because he's like you said, he's like a mini boss. So like something epic has to happen.
You
to
need
kill him. Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes you get into the boss room and the boss just wants to talk.
Or a dire wolf, something like that. What if Nymeria and the wolf pack just swarmed the mountain?
What if time out. Full circle. You ready for full circle now, Casey?
Let's do it.
You ready?
Yeah.
We first get introduced to this mofo by killing a horse, right?
Yeah.
The Dothraki are gonna stampede. They're gonna trample that mofo. Let's go, full circle.
He gets like Mufasa.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I like I like all these.
But it's just like the Hound from distance, like Simba, like, oh no, I was supposed to kill him, and just trampled by the horses.
They're on a cliff fighting, and like he could save his brother, and he looks down. There's all these Dothraki going through this canyon, and he just goes like,
Scar. Can we have the Scar moment?
But the Hound is Scar. Hey, dude, the Hound has a huge
scar. Oh my gosh.
That's perfect.
Lion King in this building.
Lion King Game Ball.
Yeah,
that's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Come up with.
Oh no! And then it's perfect because he got thrown off of a cliff by Brienne and lived, and his brother could get thrown off of a cliff and die. Oh.
Beautiful.
So much. Okay, as always, the show is brought to you by Altered Reality Entertainment. They do not condone stampedes by Dothraki hordes, but we do here at On the Case. You can check out their con that's happening, Empire State Comic Con in Albany, New York, escomiccon.com, celebrities, artists, cosplay, all that stuff that you do at a con. It's going to be fun. Check it out, escomiccon.com. Casey, who are we talking about next time?
The Lady of Winterfell at the moment. Miss Sansa Stark.
Sansa. Cool, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I guess we'll.
Major character.
This one's we're going in. It's going to take a while.
It's going to be nice.
Yeah.
Lots of good points, lots of good theories.
All right.
Who will she end up with?
Let's I'll dye my hair red so I can be before.
I'll do black.
Yeah, and you do black. You'll be after Mockingjay, and then I'll be before. Kind of
cool. I want some crazy shoulder pads.
Yeah. I'll get you the feathers.
Nice.
Cool. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.